What's up, Kid Voice Academy? It's your favorite music teacher here, Mr. Ridley, and I'm so ready to begin this lesson with you. So, last week we talked about introductions of ourselves and things that we want to learn in music. This week, we're going to talk about two things that are very important: the different kind of voices that you have, and audience etiquette, which is how you're supposed to behave as an audience member, all right? But before we begin talking about those two things, I want you guys to be able to have some fun and get some dancing out and get those wiggles out, all right? So when I say go, you're gonna pause this video and you're gonna bring up the other two videos that I added to your lesson that are some Just Dance songs, okay? Don't close this video, come back to it after you do those two songs, all right? Here we go. I'm gonna do a countdown to five. 3, 2, 1, and go watch those videos. I'm pausing. All right, I'm back. So, like I said, two of the things that I wanted to talk about are audience etiquette and the different voices that we all have. So, the first thing that we're going to talk about are our different voices. There are 4 different voices that each one of us have, and we're going to talk about all of those voices today, okay? The first voice is your speaking voice. And when I'm talking about speaking voice, this is what I like to do. Speak your voice. I like to show that I'm using my speaking voice. Your speaking voice is just your normal, regular voice, how you talk every day. This is Mr. Ridley's speaking voice. Your speaking voice isn't too loud, it isn't too soft, it's just right. It's kind of right in the middle. Where do you think is a good place to use your speaking voice? A good place to use your speaking voice could be at home when you're talking to your family, on the phone when you're talking to your family or your friends, at a store. There are a whole bunch of different places that you could use your regular speaking voice. So when we talk about our speaking voice, we're doing this because it shows we know what our speaking voice is. All right. Now, the second voice that we're going to talk about is probably Mr. Ridley's favorite voice. That is our singing voice. So when we talk about our singing voice, we put our hands over our chest like we're about to sing a song loud and proud. But our singing voice is also very different than our speaking voice. Our singing voice can be high, our singing voice can be low, our singing voice can be loud, our singing voice can be very soft, depending on the kind of song that we want to sing. Where do you think it would be a good place to use your singing voice? A really good place to use your singing voice is music class because that's what we get to do. We get to sing and we get to play a lot in this class. But right now, I want to see if you can sing a song with me using your singing voice. The first thing you have to do is put your hand over your chest like you're proud. We're going to sing a very easy song, all right? I want to see if you can sing it better than me. We do Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. You ready? Do you know the words to Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star? We're about to find out. Here we go. Sing it with me. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, oh, how I wonder what you are. Thank you. That was Mr. Ridley's singing voice. I wonder how your singing voice sounds. Can you sing better than Mr. Ridley? I don't know. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about, the next voice, is our calling voice. Now, your calling voice is oftentimes known as your yelling voice, but we don't really want to call it a yelling voice. It's your loud voice. So when we use our calling voice, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get our hands, we're going to cup it close to our mouth. You don't have to put it on your mouth. You're going to cup it around your mouth, and you're going to go like this. This lets me know that you're using our calling voice. Your calling voice is your loud voice. It's a voice that you don't use all the time. It's also a voice that lets people hear you from far away. It's a voice that's really, really good to use outside. Can you think of a place or a time that you would use your calling voice? If I was outside playing with my friends, I would definitely be using my calling voice, especially if they're far away. If I'm at a concert that's loud and there's a whole bunch of noise and I can't even hear my regular speaking voice and I want to talk to someone, I may use my calling voice. But let me ask you another question. Do you know a time where it's not okay to use your calling voice? A place that may not be okay to use your calling voice is if you're at home and there's people who are sleeping. It's not a good time to be yelling and using our calling voice, right? Or what if you're watching a movie and everyone around you is quiet? Do you think it's a good time to use your calling voice? Probably not. Or what if you're around your siblings or your friends or your family and they're doing work, they're doing homework or schoolwork? Do you think it's a good time to use your calling voice? Probably not. All right. So we just talked about three voices. We talked about our speaking voice, our singing voice, our calling voice, and now we're going to talk about our last voice, which is our whisper voice. See, this is what I use for my whisper voice. I have one hand and I go like this, like I'm about to tell a secret. That way, not everyone knows what I'm about to say. And that's why using our whisper voice is so cool. It's so different than what we just did with our calling voice. Our calling voice is really loud so that everyone can hear us. But our whisper voice is very quiet. So that only maybe one or two people can hear what we're saying. Because we're using our whisper voice, it can be kind of hard to hear. So that's why it's our lowest, our softest voice. Now, when is the time do you think that would be a good time to use your whisper voice? A good time to use your whisper voice maybe when you're at home and your mom and dad are on the phone and you want to talk, but you can't talk really loud. A good time to use your whisper voice is if you're at school and you're trying to do work and you have a question and you raise your hand and you ask the question like this so that only the teacher can hear you. A good time to use your whisper voice is if you're watching a movie and you want something like popcorn or to use the bathroom or candy, and instead of using your calling voice to ask for it, you use your whisper voice to ask for it. So that way you're not disrupting everyone around you. Okay? So those are the four voices that we have. Again, our speaking voice, our singing voice, our calling voice, and our whisper voice. So I want to see who was paying attention to the four movements that I just did, okay? So I'm going to do the movement and I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to see if you can tell me which one am I doing. Is it speaking, singing, calling, or whisper voice? Okay, here we go. Which one am I doing? I am doing my singing voice. Okay. Which one am I doing now? I'm doing my whisper voice. Which one am I doing now? I'm doing my calling voice. Remember, calling and whisper look kind of similar. They look the same, except calling, you have two hands up. Whisper, you only have one hand up. Which voice is this? My speaking voice. All right. So now that we just talked about our four voices, we're going to talk about audience etiquette. And what audience etiquette is how you're supposed to behave during a performance or when a speaker is talking. Okay. For the most part, the four voices that we just used, the only voice that you're going to use during a performance is your whisper voice. Because while the other person is performing, we got to make sure that we're showing respect and that we're being quiet and we're listening to the person that's performing. Okay? Always make sure that you're quiet during a performance. Always make sure that you're tracking, that you're watching the person who's talking or the person who's performing. If you have questions, that's awesome. It shows that you're paying attention. We raise our hands to ask those questions. We don't just yell out. Also, there may be times during the performance where you really want to ask the question, but it may not be okay to ask the question. So you may have to wait patiently until the end of the performance. Also, it is great to clap at the end of the performance or the song. It shows the person that you really appreciate and love what they were doing. All right. Now, what I want you to do is we're going to pause this video again, and I want you to bring up another video that's a really good video. It talks to you about how to behave as an audience member. All right. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds. You're going to pause this video, and then you're going to watch that video and come back to this video afterwards. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so we just watched the audience etiquette video. Now, if you realize there was a lot of things that was happening in that video that weren't necessarily bad, the person wasn't trying to be disruptive or trying to mess up the performance, but they were doing things that were messing up the performance, like eating when they weren't supposed to, or talking to someone when they weren't supposed to. So when it's time for us to be an audience member, we got to make sure that we're doing a good job with those 4 voices and showing respect. All right. Now, we just talked about the 4 voices in music, not just in music, but that we use in everyday life. And we just talked about audience etiquette. All right. So I'm going to let you guys do one more Just Dance song. It's one of my favorite songs. All right. Because what Mr. Really always loves to do, I love to have fun at the beginning of the class, and I love to have fun at the end of class. All right. So you're going to pause this video again in 5 seconds, and you're going to do one more Just Dance song. And then I want to talk to you about the assignment that you have to do after this. Okay. So pause it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So last thing that I really want to talk to you about is there's an assignment, something that I want you to do that goes along with what we just talked about. All right. What I want you to do is in that assignment, you're going to see pictures of the 4 different voices. I want you to be able to list and name those voices to show Mr. Ridley that you understand the 4 voices that you have, which are our speaking, our singing, our calling, and our whisper voices. All right. Now, since this is the end of the lesson, and remember last week I talked to you about learning a song. We learned the goodbye song. So I want to do the goodbye song with you again, okay? I'm going to go over it very briefly, not as long as I did the first time. And then we're going to do it together, okay? So it goes. This is what I do. I'll do it 3 times. I'll do it 1 time at normal speed, then I'll break it down. And then we'll do it 1 more time together, okay? This is the first time. Here it goes. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. I said so long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. It's been great to sing and play together, but now it's time to say goodbye. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. I said so long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. All right, so that's the whole song. And remember, it is okay if you make mistakes, because Mr. Ridley just made a couple mistakes, but he kept going. All right. So now we're going to break it down. Here it goes. So long, farewell to you. Remember, my friend is this, my friend. Then, goodbye. You're going to point to your imaginary watch. For now, until we meet again. One person, another person, and they're meeting again. And then you just repeat that. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. It's been great. You pat your lap twice. You're going to clap twice to sing and play together. Big rainbow. And now it's time to say goodbye. You're going to rub your hands like you're making a fire. Clap, snap. Let's do that again. All right. And then you go back to the beginning. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, your watch, until we meet again. All right. You guys ready to do the whole thing? Let's see if Mr. Ridley can get it all right this time. Let's see if you can get it right. You ready? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. I said so long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. It's been great to sing and play together, but now it's time to say goodbye. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. I said so long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. All right, guys. It's been really good seeing you guys this week. I can't wait to see you guys next week. Until then, be safe. Bye, guys.